Hey everybody, Rose here. Starting stream number two. This is also a test because still trying to get my audio stuff sorted out. So I'm getting everything going through the mixer into the audio here. Check 1 2. I'm not sure if it's check 1 2. Looks like it's okay. If anybody's out there, let me know if you're having any problems hearing anything. Okay. Um, Hello again, Russ Rogers here. Just kind of getting my feet wet with the streaming thing. This is stream attempt number two. So hope things are going all right. Somebody's trying to text me here. Not sure what's going on with that. I'll check into that later. Let's see here. Anywho, um, wanted to talk about left hand form today. Yeah, last time I was talking about the right hand, with a floating thumb, and had a lot of success with it. And I don't know if anybody's seen that one. The audio didn't come out very well, so that's why I'm trying something new today. So hoping it's working okay. Um, with the left hand, I owe a lot to Adam Neely because he, had this video on left hand technique using what he calls a neutral position, and it just made all the sense in the world. And I make all my students watch this video that he's done on this because he lays it out so beautifully. But essentially, what it is you just relax the arm, flip it over, and right there, it puts your left hand in really an optimum, left hand placement for the neck. The thumb pointing toward the headstock, fingers are naturally curved, they're even. So essentially, you just slide your neck into that, and there you have it. Um, I've seen a lot of people talk about one finger per fret, which in some cases and for certain things works fine. But I think left hand should always be relative to what you're playing. It should always be sensitive to what's going on around it. It should choices should be made because of what you just did and what you're about to do next. What makes the most sense, what you know really makes a hand operate the smoothest, and really leads to everything feeling good. It should really that should be the bottom line there. What can I do that really makes what I'm playing feel great? And that usually, has, as far as left hand is concerned, has to do with hand efficiency. No, getting rid of excess motion, things like that. Anyway, with that being said, if I'm going to, let's say, I'm going to do the middle four of this bass. Obviously, this is a six string bass. The middle four of this are regular four string bass. So I'm just going to operate on the E, A, D, and G string for this. So I'm just starting this with my first finger on the third fret of the E string on a G. And so after doing this, and then slide the neck in there, first thing I do like to, as far as getting the basic form together is to do an exercise I call set, check, and play. And essentially, you just first thing that happens is that the first finger goes directly behind the fret. You know, trying to fret right behind the fret is usually a good idea more than you don't, just because you're getting the most pressure over the top of that fret, you know, to produce a good tone. Um, Also, another thing with the left hand that I do is that my first finger is draped over the higher strings. The floating thumb keeps the lower strings quiet while I'm playing on the higher ones, but when you're playing on, you know, the lower ones, what's keeping the higher ones from ringing? Because if you're up like this and you have space in between the fingers and the fingerboard, they're going to ring. Whereas if it's laid down, that first finger just laying down like that, it essentially takes care of it. Now, as you go higher on the neck, what happens is my fourth finger kind of takes it over. Just due to the way the fingers fall naturally on the string, they're the fourth finger is now laying over the higher strings, and it's keeping them quiet. So it's just they just kind of do a handoff right. For me, it's right around in here that starts to just naturally want to do that. The fourth finger just kind of feels like I just right about here. I feel it start to touch the strings, and then the first finger starts to leave. So you know, these things almost take care of themselves, which is pretty cool. Um, but getting back to the set, check, and play, first finger right behind the fret. Now notice where 2, 3, and 4 are. They're just sitting. You know, I'm just having them sit on the string with the joints curved. And this is kind of way, you know, having to touch the string is kind of gives me a visual perspective on the way I want them to look when they're floating right over the string. So what I do is I set them down, then I lift them up just a little bit where they're equally, you know, over the string. And if I need to set them down, pick them up, set them down to get it, you know, to get everybody to cooperate, then, you know, go ahead and do it. Once you're satisfied with the, you know, form, go ahead and play the note. Then I move the second finger to the next fret, which is now the fourth fret on the E string. Notice that the first finger is kind of pulled up a little bit. It's not right here. It doesn't have to be here anymore because it's not playing this note now. Now, of course, if I was going right back to that note, I would make an exception here. Remember that you're always going to make these choices depending on what's happening, you know, just before and just after the note that you're playing. But in this case, since I'm not going back, it just relaxes. It stays down though, touching the string, but it just pulls comfortably up behind the second. Now, the second finger right behind the fret. Then notice where 3 and 4 are. So I'm not worried about them being out here yet because they're not doing anything. So just want them to stay nice and relaxed. So if I set them down on the string to get my visualization on what I want them to look like, then pick them up, just floating right over the string, equal distance, play the note, set, check, and play. Then I go to the third finger on the fifth fret of the E string, and notice 1 and 2 pull up comfortably behind 3. You don't want them to bunch up, you know. Don't necessarily clamp them together or anything, but just relax. All right, and put the fourth finger down to get. See, that's the way I want it to look. Just lay it right over this, right over the string. Play the note. Then I go to fourth finger, put it right behind the sixth fret on the E string. Notice 1, 2, and 3 are comfortably spaced behind 4, but still down on the string. Play the note when you're satisfied with the form. So when you're playing slow, this type of movement this way makes a lot of sense because I just let the hand move and stay nice, let the hand stay nice and relaxed. Okay. Now, the faster you play, the more you will stretch, you know, so especially down the first, you know, 5 to 7 frets, you know, especially the first five, you know, the distance that you have on a, you know, regular scale bass is going to really kind of tax the hand. If I tried to like do a first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, and try to space everything out, get everything right behind the fret, my hand's already hurting just doing it for that long. But if I am playing faster, I definitely, stretch them out more. So, you can get to everything on time. But once I'm done having to do what I have to do, then I always relax the hand back to its basic, you know, neutral position. And Adam Neal, if you happen to be watching this, man, thank you. Man, those videos you put out are excellent, especially this one. I love this one. Anyway, another thing about the left hand that I like to do is, with that neutral position in mind, is to just keep it on a string and slide it all the way up and down so that you can get a visualization of what your hand naturally kind of wants to do in different areas of the neck. Now, you'll notice that when I get around here, my thumb starts to come up. So to get up in the higher register of the bass, I basically brace here. But by keeping all the fingers down on the string, you can really get a nice idea of, what they want to have happen to stay relaxed. That right there is a pretty cool little exercise. It gives you a lot of insight into, you know, basically how to position the hand in different areas of the neck. Anyway, I'm going to start doing these more on a regular schedule. I will post them and advertise them like you're supposed to. Forgive my newness to streaming, but definitely want to get this out here. And one of the purposes of this is to introduce, my teaching style to folks because I do online Skype based lessons. I can teach anywhere in the world. So, if you're interested in checking out my stuff, please go to my website, russrogersbassguitar.com, RUSSRODGERS, bassguitar.com, and check it out. And if you like what you see, yeah, please contact me. My email is on the website. Phone number if you're in the U.S. Um, let's see. Also on YouTube, if you type in Russ Rogers, remember Rogers with a D. I have a lot of samples of what the Skype thing looks and sounds like, so that you can get an idea of what you actually see and hear. But anyway, yeah, please contact me. Let me know if you see this, what you think, and I appreciate your time. And we'll see you soon.